Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Urban Health and Fitness. My name's Manny. I'm going to be doing a back here Pilates exercise class this morning. So welcome. I hope everyone is well, feeling well, and making the most out of the second lockdown that we've got. So the format of today's class is going to be a 40-minute class. It's going to be a very beginner's level, and we're going to be working on lots of elements in terms of mobility, flexibility and stability around the spinal column. A couple of things you're going to need. I'm going to give you 30 seconds if you haven't got them to go and grab. Obviously you'll need space, so create whatever space you've got wherever you are. If you've got a mat, that's great, or you can put a towel on the floor. You'll also need a second towel as well, because we're going to do some work lying on the towel as well. And depending on if you've done this before, you may need a couple of cushions. So pop away for 10-15 seconds. If you can grab that, that would be great, just so that we can move into those movements a little bit quicker when we come to them. For those that haven't done a Pilates class or a movement-based class, what I thoroughly recommend that is whatever movements you do, it should feel comfortable to do. There should be no pain or restriction as such. So if there is, then please just move to where you feel comfortable and where you're happy to do. I'll try and put some modifications in for those people that have done Pilates before, so you can do something slightly at a high level, and also modification for those that haven't done any. If you are unsure and if you are in pain, then please just seek other help or look to get a one-on-one consultation to see what's suitable for yourself. It's going to take 40 minutes today, so please make yourself comfortable. Hopefully you've grabbed the bits that you're going to need, and we will get started. Great, so coming to the centre of your mat or the floor space that you have. Feet hip width apart, make sure that they're nicely grounded onto the floor. We're going to start with a bit of breath work, and that's simply just to try and expand the lungs, get some breath into us, and just desensitize the nervous system slightly as well. So from this position, we're going to put one hand onto the chest, one hand onto the belly. Elbows facing out. What we're going to look to do is try and get a sense of length through the spine. So imagine a string is attached to the top of the head, and you're pulling that head up towards the ceiling. From this position here, you're going to try and lengthen through the spine as much as you can, nice and tall. One hand on the belly. As you take that breath in, imagine the breath going down the lungs and it's lifting and pushing the hand out of your belly. So big breath in for me. Expand that belly out, breath out, belly comes in first, or the hand comes in closer and the breath comes out. And again, in your own time, just a few breaths in, just thinking about the coordination of the breath, making sure that the belly expands, that we're getting the breath all the way down to the base of the lungs. So breath in, and breath out. And again for me, breath in, and breath out. Good, one more time, breath in, and breath out. One more time, breath in, and breath out. Good. Put the hands on the side of the chest now, just lower part of your rib cage, and we're going to do the same thing. As we take our breath in, what we're looking to do now is get expansion through the side of our lungs. So same principle, as you take that breath in, what you're looking to do is that the chest rises, the belly comes out, and the rib cage flares out. So that we know that we're getting the breath in the lower parts of our lungs. So breath in again for me. And breath out. One more time, breath in. And breath out. Breath in. And breath out. You should just feel the hands slightly expanding out and coming back in as that breath goes in and out. I'm going to do two more. We're just going to put a slight pause at the end. So breath in again for me. Hold. And breath out. One more time. Big breath in. Hold. And breath out. Relax those shoulders. Try and loosen those shoulders up, draw them down and squeeze them together. Turn the palms in. Again, just realign yourself in the centre of the mat, make sure your feet are firmly on the ground. From this position, we're going to roll the shoulders up, roll them all the way to the back, come back to centre. Keep the palms facing forward. Breath in, big roll up, breath out, roll back down again. Good. 2 more times for me. Big roll up, hold, breath out, control back down again. Good. 1 more time. Big roll up, all the way up to the ears. Go on, take it up, breath out, control back down again. Good. We're going to look to start to mobilise the neck now. So from this position, the palms stay open, so that outwards looking. From this position, we're just gently going to look around to the right. We're going to gauge to see how far we can go around. So look at a marker in the room that you can find. Come back to centre and over to the other side. So look around, see where your eye mark is going, and then back to centre. From this position, we're going to slowly take the hands out to the side. Same movements back to the first position. Big reach round. See if you can go slightly further. Head round, back to centre, over to the other side. See if you can take it slightly further and back again. 1 more time, we take our hands slightly high as we lift the shoulder girdle up. This time, see if you can turn around and see if you can go slightly further. So big rotation around, see if you can go a little bit further. Where is your eye now coming to? Back to centre, over to the other side. And back to centre, relax those arms back down again. So we're going to work in the same position now, which we call side flexion. So we're taking our ear down to our shoulder. So we turn the palms again, open that palm face out. From this position, deep breath in, and we go over, breath out. Again, just see how far, how it feels, where you're getting to, back to centre, and same on the other side. And back to centre. It's really important as we do these movements, you're looking for symmetry and see how it feels. Is there one side more restrictive than the other? Over to the other side, back to centre, and over. You should feel that slight stretch coming down the side of the neck. It should feel relatively comfortable to do, and back to centre. So we can now work through that range so as we lift that shoulder girdle up. So those arms come up, same again, ear to shoulder, back to centre, over to the other side. Can we take our neck slightly further now? You may feel that stretch coming slightly higher up in the neck. 1 more time, final time up. So head over, good. Back to centre and over to the other side. Good, and back again. Gently take those arms down. We're going to work now, continue with the neck, just to work through the 4 quadrants of movements that we can work through. So the first one's going to be what's called a retraction-protraction, and I'll come to the side to demonstrate. The protraction-retraction is simply a movement where you're tucking the chin in. You're making a double chin for yourself, not very flattering, but essentially what we're doing is we're gliding the joints at the back of the neck. So in this position, again, nice firm fixed position, palms out, we tuck our chin in, and we control forwards. And again, big tuck in, and control forwards. Now it's really important that we engage our shoulder girdle. So slight squeeze through your shoulder blades into the back, pin yourself so you're long through the front of the chest. So same position, it's not a big movement, big tuck in, and control forwards, and again, tuck that chin in, and control forwards. A couple more for me, so again, big tuck in, and back again, and 1 more time. And back to centre. So we're going to work through this plane movement now, so we're taking our ear down to the side, and our ear over. Again, depends how much movement you've got through your neck. Just, again, don't force the movement, it should feel relatively comfortable as you do it, but simply, again, we turn the palms open, we take our ear over to one side, keeping our head level and pulled up. Remember to keep the squeeze between the shoulder blades. So ear comes over to one side, back to centre, see if you can take it over to the other side, back to centre again. Arms come up, 1 more time again, over to one side, back to centre. Do what you can, it's quite a tough movement, over to the other, and back to centre. The reason why we're doing this is it's really nice, it gaps the joints on the side of the neck, and it also mobilises the tissue around it. 1 final time, arm comes up, we go over to one side, and back to centre, and over to the other, and back to centre. Well done, we'll take those hands down. So we're going to now, well done, hopefully your neck feels a little bit looser. We're going to stretch the neck out and we're going to work on the shoulder girdle. So a nice simple stretch, just working through what we've just done. Palm comes out to one side, head or hand on top of the head. So we're going to go down to the right side, so my right hand comes on top of my head. As I take my hand over to the left, I take my hand down to one side, and I'm feeling that stretch through one side. I'm not forcing the movement, I'm just gently putting a slight stretch to that side for a 3-second hold of 2, 1, back to centre. I change sides, so I'm going down to my left side, so my left hand comes on top. Again, I open the palm face on the other side, I take it down to one side for 3, 2, 1, back to centre. We're going to do that one more time either side. So right hand up, top of the head, and then left hand out, and again, over to one side. You'll feel that stretch through the left side. Back to centre, change sides. And again, left hand onto the top, right hand out to the side, and a stretch over. And back again. We're going to stretch through flexion now. We're going to work through a muscle that just attaches to the back of the neck here. So what you need to do is turn your head to 45 degrees. We'll work to the right side first so that everyone's following in sync. So everyone's right, if that's possible. So 45 degrees, you're still facing forwards. The right hand now comes on top of the head. The left hand stays down to the side, and we pull and touching down to the side. You'll feel a stretch, hopefully, through the top of the left part of your neck, down to the shoulder blade. Back to centre, relax the hand off, come back to centre. We'll do the left side and I'll explain again. So we turn our head to 45 degrees to the left side. Our left hand comes on top of the head. Make sure it comes to the top of it so that you're getting the pull from the top of the head. It doesn't work at the front. So all the way to the back, right hand out to the side, pull down. You'll feel that stretch now coming through the top of the neck. And if that hand stays down, you'll feel it into the shoulder blade. Back to centre and over. We'll do that one more time. So turn to the right, 45 degrees, hand on top, right hand on top, and then down, left hand out to the side, and feel that stretch. Back to centre and over to the other side. Again, left side, left hand, down and stretch. Back again and over. I'm going to do one more stretch for the back of the neck. I think this is a really lovely stretch. It's a deep flexion stretch. And for those people that sit a lot at the computer, they're doing a lot of work, they're not maybe doing a lot of reading or on their tablet or phone a lot, again, the neck can become quite tight. So this is a lovely deep stretch to engage and stretch those tissues out. So both hands come on top of the head. It's important it doesn't come to the front, it comes to the back. And from this position here, we're just dropping our chin down to our chest. So from there, we drop down, we bring those elbows in, we come down as far as we feel comfortable. We just hold. And again, we're not occluding our airway, to still be able to breathe. So again, just the breath out as you control down. As you pull down, think about pulling up and down as possible to get some traction through it. So up and over, feel that stretch for 3, 2, 1, back to centre. Okay, we'll go through that one more time. Remember, from the top, if we get right at the top of the head, you'll be able to lift up and over. So head over, elbows in, tuck that chin in, pull up and over, hold for 3, 2, 1, control back down again. Excellent, and relax those arms down. We'll do that stretch in lying as well, because that's a lovely deep stretch to do in that position. And it isolates a lot more. You'll feel it slightly deeper when we're in line. So we're going to start to work on the shoulder girdle. I hope everyone's feeling okay. And again, once again to reiterate, just work to what you're comfortable, you're able to do. We're going to go back into that arm position at 90 degrees. And this is a bit of a coordination movement as well, so hopefully you don't get too baffled with it. So what I'm looking to do is I'm going to mobilise the shoulder girdle and neck at the same time. So both palms facing up, both palms facing up. Now I'm going to turn one palm down, so I'm rotating the whole arm. It's really important that the rotation occurs at the shoulder. I'm not rotating at the forearm, which you can do at the same time. What I'm doing is I'm rotating at the shoulder. Now when I'm rotating at the shoulder, my shoulder girdle, and that shoulder blade underneath me, moves as well. That's really important because that's what we're trying to move. If you move through your forearm, you're simply just going to be moving through there, and we're not going to engage the structures higher above. So from this position here, we really want to feel like, and what you'll see is that your upper traps, this muscle here, will start to move. You'll feel that muscle working. So that's the movement that we're doing. As we look at it, we're going to have one palm up, one palm down, and this is the movement. We're going to look to the open palm, look to the open palm. As we rotate, we turn the palms the other way. Again, moving through the shoulder blade, I turn my head to the open arm. And again, I move round again, I turn my head to the open arm. So as I turn my arms, one palm stays up, one palm stays down, and I'm always looking to the open palm. I'm moving through my shoulder girdle, and you'll feel the whole of the shoulder blade moving in this position. So you're moving one shoulder blade in one position, one shoulder blade in the other position. So it's getting a nice mobility through the middle to upper back. So again, let's go through that 8 times. So one palm up, head over. Again, nice big stretch. From there, turn and rotate. And again for 7. And again for 6. And again for 5. And again 4, 3, 2, 1, control back down again. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult to do. Again, practice. Hopefully you felt the shoulder blades moving. It's really quite important that that's coordinated, and you felt that one going one way, one going in the other way. From this position here, thumbs facing forwards, we're going to take a deep breath in, take them up all the way to the top for me as much as you can, and then breath out and control back down again. As we take these arms out, it's really important. It's easy for everyone just to lift their arms up in the air. The importance is that we move the structures that we need to move. So in this position, I want pure shoulder movement. So as I take my arm up, what I'm trying not to do is arch my lower back or get movement through my hips and lower back. So I'm quite tight through the front of my chest, so it's quite difficult for me to get that end range. But for those that can, you just want the movement through the shoulder blade as much as possible. So breath in, thumbs up, all the way to the top. Now when you're in this top position, you can lift those arms up, engage the shoulder girdle as much as possible. Breath out, control back down again. Good. Take those hands behind you. I'm just going to zoom the screen out so everyone can see. Good. So from this position here, so palms come up, all the way to the top. Lift that shoulder girdle, reach up to the ceiling. Palms open, breath out, control back down again, and behind you. Good. One more time, breath in, all the way to the top. Good. And breath out and behind. Good. We're going to go up again, one more time, breath up. We're going to turn the palms this time, turn the palms facing forwards, feet hip width apart. We're going out to the side and down to the side as much as possible. Good. From there, we'll go through that sequence again. Thumbs up, breath in, turn the palm, out to the side and down. One more time, breath in, up. When we get to the top, lift up, palms open, breath out, control back down again. Excellent. Good. From this position, we come up, we take the palms facing forward. So the camera seems to be doing its own thing. Let me just zoom out again so everyone can see. Again, the palms come up. From this position here, we get a lovely stretch through the forearm. We put one hand onto the one side again so you can feel that stretch through the forearm. You're just gently adding a bit of pressure through those fingertips. That'll stretch the forearm out. Good. And we change. Again, open those thumb out as much as you can. All these tendons and muscle groups are really connected. When you get that stretch through your forearm and keeping that elbow straight, you're really stretching all those muscles and tendons all the way through the forearm and the fingers. Gives a lovely deep stretch back to center. From this position here, we're going to do some opposites. So essentially one hand is going to come up, one arm is going to go down. So in this position, we're simply going to opposites. And as we do that, we're going to really squeeze those shoulder blades together, control back down again. Again, we can go in the opposite direction. Big stretch out, big squeeze, and back to center. Lovely stretch through the front of the chest as well. So one more time for me. Big stretch out. Good. Back to center. One more time. Good. And back to center. Take them down. Give those hands a little shake. Hope everyone's okay. We're going to do a little bit more through the shoulder and shoulder girdle, and then we'll come on to a bit more lower back work. So in this position, I'm going to work through extension. So this is extension when we take our hand behind us. So we're going to start hands into this position here, facing forwards, just as we did with that stretch. We're going to take them behind or down to the side, and then we're going to take them behind us. Again, this is going to give a lovely deep stretch through the front of the shoulder. We're going to take a deep breath in. Again, really push those hands, keep those forearms up and those hands up as much as possible. Breath forwards, come back to start. Again, we're working through the shoulder as much as possible. Keep those fingers up towards the ceiling, out to the side. Feel that stretch through the forearms. Take it behind you. Keep working through the shoulder. Keep the head and chest up. Feel that stretch, come back to start. One more time for me, out to the side, feel the stretch through the forearm, just as they're parallel with the shoulder. From this position, we take it behind, feel the stretch through the front of the shoulder, and control back down again. I'll zoom it out, hope everyone's okay. Legs slightly wider than shoulder width now, so I've gone quite wide and I've turned my feet out. We're going to now start to engage more of the muscles around the shoulder and in the middle of our back. So from this position, we take our arm up, single arm up, I'm doing my left side. And again, I'm getting that sense of lift from the shoulder up, palm facing up as much as possible. It's really important that we try and now start to engage the fascia, the tissue that goes lower down into these muscle groups through our torso and even into our hip and lower. So from this position, lift up. The opposite arm here, the right arm is going to come down to the side. So I'm going to be pushing out and over. So the movement pattern is over, big stretch down and over. Good. Breath back again and control back. Change sides. So the palm comes up, facing out. Left hand down to the side now. I'm going to come up, over, back to center. So this time we're going to sync it with the breath. I really want you to feel that stretch going all the way down into the hip. If it doesn't, start to have a little play with your feet and the position of your legs to see if you can get that stretch further down towards the hip area. So, right, left arm up, turn the palm facing forwards, out to one side. We're lifting, remember, up and over. So go up and over. Big reach down with the right side. Go on, reach down towards the floor as much as you can. Now shift those hips over as much as you can. So now, me reaching to my right, I'm shifting my hips over to my left side. I'm getting that deep stretch through my QL, lower part of my lower back to center, breath out, and control back down again. Other side, right arm comes up. Remember, close to our ear as much as possible, depending on your flexibility. Again, lifting through that shoulder girdle, not arching through your back. Really important that we get it through our shoulder. Palm facing forward. My other hand now is coming down towards the floor. I go up, breath out, up and over. Big stretch now, as far as you can. Push down with the hand towards the floor. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Back to center. One more time. This time, take your legs wider now. As wide as you can feel, you can take them. When we're pushing down, I'll try and open out the camera a bit more so everyone can see what's happening with the other hand. It's really important when this hand is coming down, I'm really essentially pushing down to the floor. When I push down with the floor, my hips shift over, and that's where you get that intensity of stretch further down in the lower back. So, one arm up, palm facing forward, palm open, breath out, down to one side, shift those hips over, that body weight over. Good, back to center, control back down again, breath in. Good, palm open, palm out, breath out. Shift the hips. Back to center and control back down again. Excellent, well done, good work. We're going to take our feet slightly further in. From this position here, we're going to go down to one side. So my right hand is going to now come over to my left knee. I'm going to work on the outside. From this position here, I'm simply just going to open up through now parts of my thoracic and lower back. So I'll change sides into the opposite hand, open up, back to centre. We'll do a few more. Right hand over, left hand, and change. Good, one more either side. Excellent, well done. Good work. From this position, we're going to come side on to demonstrate. Hand on to the lower part of our back. From this position here, elbows facing backwards, head and chest up. We're simply just going to arch back, and the movement is coming from the lower back. So I'm not trying to get my head back, I'm pushing my chin back. I'm simply keeping my spine level and my head level with the rest of the spine. I'm simply just taking the lower back into a comfortable position, back to centre. From there, we're going down to the sides. So palm facing up, we go over to one side, reach down as far as you feel comfortable, back to centre, and over to the other side. Back to centre, we go back into that extended position. Hands, I've put them around my pelvic girdle, so the bony part of my pelvis. It fixes me into that position. I simply then extend back through my lower back, keeping my head level with the rest of my spine. Back to centre, down to one side, back to centre, and over to the other. And back again. Well done. Okay, we're going to come to the edge of the mat. I'm going to have to readjust the camera a little bit so it's pointing down onto the mat, but get yourself in position. What you're going to look to do is we're going to roll down, and then you're going to need your towel, and we're going to work off that just to give some mobility on our backs to begin with. So, I'll have a little readjust. Hope everyone's okay. Grab a drink if you need to. So hopefully you can see that now. Come to the side of the mat. We're going to do a roll down. If you're not sure what a roll down is, simply what we're doing is a visualization movement, and also it's just trying to get your brain engaged in terms of motor patterning. We start with the head, we take the chin to the chest, and we visualize the spine curling down on itself, starting right from the top of the base of the spine. And you're looking at a sequence of movements where they're just peeling over on another, where you're controlling that movement down. So we start with the neck, going to the middle of the back, lower back, pelvis, and then you should feel it through your hamstrings until the bottom end of the movement. So it looks something like this. So hands facing out to the side, the chin drops down, we then curl through the neck, thoracic, and then the lower back starts to engage. And through this movement you should be feeling how each segment feels as you do that movement. So is there any areas of stiffness, restriction? Go to where you feel comfortable. From this position here, take a deep breath in. And breath out, curl back up again. So your curl up is the reverse sequence. You're simply starting at your hamstrings and pelvis and working up to the neck, lifting up last. So one more time again, chin to chest. Now tell me how it feels as you roll down. Good. Bend the knees, come down onto the floor. Great stuff. Hopefully you can see me now on the floor. So what we're going to look to do is have your towel. It needs to be quite long. It's going to almost kind of go down the centre of our spine. So what I'm going to do is get the towel and roll that up. We'll come on to this in a second, but I'm going to get this prepared. We're just going to go through a bit of spine mobility first, just on 4-point kneeling. So put the towel to the side. We're going to come on down onto the floor. So from this position here, what we're looking for, hopefully you can see me, what we're looking for is that you can get on 4-point kneeling. Good. And Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. From this position, we're just going to go through our cat-cows, humps and dumps, whatever you want to call them. And again, the sequence of movements is that your chin moves in time with the pelvis. Good, you're just gently going through that movement. It's a nice mobilisation through most of the spine. The really important thing is that you can sink your pelvis and you can move that as much as possible. Two more for me. Feel any areas of stiffness. Good. From this position, we come up to neutral, so our head now is level, our pelvis is level, it's neither dipped down or arched up. We're in this neutral position. Hand comes under, we just mobilise underneath, come back to centre, and again over to the other side, working through them. Nice and easy, breath out as you move. And you're simply just trying to take that arm a little bit further forward, dropping the shoulder further down. Good. One more time. Good. We're going to do the same movement, but this time we're going down to the opposite foot. So down to the opposite foot. Drop the shoulder as much as you can. I'll come forwards arm so you can just see 45 degrees. So if you're coming down to it, drop the shoulder as far as you can, down to the side, and again. Two more times. And back to centre. Final one in full point kneeling, hand in the centre. Again, you can, just for a bit of stability, lean forwards into it, depending on how you feel. Open up. Breath out, control back again, over to the other side. Get the head and chest up. Head follows the hand. To the other side. And back. And back. Well done. Palms out. Child's pose. Forwards we go. Hips down, head up. Final time, child's pose, back down. When we go down, try and think about the chest really relaxing into the floor. You straighten the arms as much as you can. Good, final time forward, hips down. And back to centre. Well done. So, we are now going to grab that towel, pop it in the centre of the mat. We're going to look to, if depending on how you feel, you can use a cushion as well, just to support your head and neck. When we're lying on the towel, it's really important that we don't kink our neck too much. So it needs to be neutral as much as possible. So the towel's set up in this position. I'm going to come and have a lie down. This towel now comes down the centre of the spine. And it should feel slightly uncomfortable lying on, not uncomfortable, just a bit weird lying on that towel. Make sure it goes down to the base of the spine as much as possible, down to the sacrum. The arms are going to come up. You may feel, depending on the size of the towel, you may feel quite unbalanced. Again, it's just making you feel like you're fully not supported on the floor. From this position, the hands come up, feet 90 degrees, both feet firmly on the floor. So again, you feel contact of the feet on the floor as much as possible. Palms facing each other. We're going to go out to the side, breath out. Up, over the head, lifting through the shoulder girdle and shoulders again. Up to the top. So, breath out. In. And up again. Breath out. In. And out again. Two more times again. Try and increase the range as much as possible. Out. Big lift at the top end. And up. And again. Out to the side. Up. And forwards. Good. Well done. Bend those elbows. We're going to put the hands now onto the side, just where our temples sit. We're going to try and give a stretch really to the front of the shoulder and the chest, something that becomes really tight the more that we sit, the more we're doing. If you're getting more of a stoop posture, then the stretches through the front of the body is going to become a little bit tighter. So this is a lovely deep stretch. Again, depending on how you feel, you can put your hands just slightly underneath the head. You shouldn't be pulling it up. And you're going to try and drop those elbows down towards the floor. See how it feels. Now remember to keep long through the back of the neck. Keep that neutral as possible. Big stretch through this position here. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax back down again. Good. Take those hands back down. Take those arms back to the centre at the top. We're going to do an alternate arm one side, alternate arm the other. So from this position here, one arm comes down, one arm comes up. Control. Big lift through the shoulders as much as possible. Back to centre. And again. Down to one side. And back to centre. 3 more times. Down. Back to centre. And again. Back to centre one more time. Back to centre. And back to centre. Well done. So again, you're looking at symmetry and synchronising the arm movements. For those that want to do this another time, you can also put weights in your hand just to add a bit more strength element to it. But again, you're just looking at how one shoulder is moving in relation to the other, what it feels like for your back. As you're doing these movements, your lower back should not be moving, it should be firmly on that towel. You should be arching or arching higher above in the midsection really to get that movement. If you are, you really want to be just going to where you feel comfortable, stopping that movement and then coming back again. Any movements through the back should just be trying to control as much as possible. Okay, great stuff. We talked about that deep stretch through the neck that we did in standing. We're going to do it in lying now. So we again become, same principle, head, hands on top of the head. From that position, we come up. And again, you'll feel this slightly more intensely, simply for the fact that the shoulder blades now are fixed onto the floor as much as possible. And again, you'll get that stretch. So from this position, deep stretch up. Again, you can hold for a bit longer. Go to where you feel comfortable. And from this position, just keep thinking about taking the chin down to the chest as much as you can. You get a lovely deep stretch to the back of the neck. 3, 2, 1, and back. Excellent, good, well done. We've got a little bit of stability to do for our lower back, but we're going to mobilise it as much as possible. So what we're going to do is get you off the towel now, off the towel. Good, from this position here, we bring our feet and our knees together and our hands come out to the side. You can, if you want, if you feel comfortable, keep the towel of the pillow on your neck, just so that you're not going into a position where your neck is being kinked, just so again it's neutral. From this position here, you take your head over to one side, knees over to the other, and you're looking to try and keep your feet and your knees together as much as possible. Breath out as you move. Again, alternate the sides. Nice and gently. We're just working through elements of the mid-back. It extends slightly down into the lower back as well. Doesn't rotate too much. Good. One more time. And back to centre. We can increase that range of movement. Now we work on the tissue that surrounds the lower back. So we straighten one leg. We drop one leg down. Now you may have to shift and adjust your position of your pelvis, and this varies with each person. Everyone's anatomy is slightly different. So there's no right and wrong way about this. You just got to feel comfortable doing it, and it should be isolating. So as I take my hips over, now my leg is extended. I take my hand up and I rotate my leg around to the side. Where I should be feeling it's coming through my hip area and extending into the lower part of my lower back. So from this position, you can start to take that leg over. To increase that stretch through the fascia that's connecting it all, you can take your hand up and over. I'm using this other hand just again to add a bit of pressure to increase that stretch relative. But some people with the weight of the leg is enough to feel it through their hips and lower back to centre. And again, I have to readjust the pelvis and the hip to get the other side. So other leg comes down, comes over from this position, extend up and rotate round. Good, and back to centre. The other thing is your right side and your left side may feel slightly different. You may feel the stretch slightly differently. Again, you're pulling on stretches, and if one side is slightly tighter than the other, that's where you're going to feel it more. So again, over to the other side. Let's see if you can extend it a little bit more. I know some people are very flexible, go down to their feet. Not quite the same for me. But again, try and see if you can increase that stretch and feel it in a slightly different place. Good, back to centre. And over to the other side. Three, two, one, back to centre, and well done. From this position here, we extend one leg, bring one knee towards our chest. We grab either behind the knee or over, not on top of the knee. On top, you'll probably get a bit more range. Now, it's important when we do this that we try and lift up and over. We're getting a flexion through the hip. Everyone's flexion is going to vary depending on the anatomy of the hip. So if you feel like you're deviating to the side, that's absolutely fine. Likely is that you're hitting a bone block. So go to where you feel comfortable. From this position, you lift up and over. And if you're lifting up and over at the same time, again, it's easy with underneath the knee as well. When you're lifting up and over, what you find is that it goes from being less pinchy inside the hip to more stretchy at the back of the bottom. So from this position, lift up, over and hold. From this position, we make sure the other leg is down on the floor. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, change sides. It's the same principle. You do this all the time, but it's thinking, being more mindful of what you're trying to achieve. So we're trying to achieve a nice deep stretch through the glutes and the lower back. So in order for us to do that, we need to make sure we get in a good position. Up, over and lift. Control back down. And again, make sure we push this thigh down to the floor. That's going to increase that stretch and keep the pelvis more fixed down towards the floor. 4, 3, 2, 1 and back again. So there are some variations. We're going to do this one more time either side. Obviously, there's variations just stretching the glute as it is, or you can work elements of the side of the hip as well, simply by putting it to the opposite shoulder. So I'll let you decide what you want to do. The next stretch is either going to be, again, up towards you, or you can come on top, and you can go across the midline slightly, and you'll feel that stretch slightly differently. So almost like you're hugging the knees slightly more, but at an angle. For 4, for 3, 2, 1, and back again. It's certainly when you go across the midline of the body, it feels a bit more pinchier through the front of the hip. That's because you're compressing more of the structures at the front. And again, same again, big lift in, big pull in. Make sure that other leg is nice and straight. Good, and relax, back off again. We're going to go back into the opposite leg. Leg is going to come up. We're going to work through elements of the hamstring. From this position here, wherever you feel comfortable, my hamstring flexibility is not great. But again, what we're looking to do, we're going to do what's called a relaxed hold into it. We're going to just take it up to a slight tension, and then we're going to use extending the leg into a fixed arm. So that's why it's important you grasp behind the knee on a straight arm as much as possible. So from this position now, I've taken it up to where I feel my hamstring being stretched. From this position here, now what I look to do is straighten my leg and fix it against my arm. So my arm isn't allowing any movement to occur, but what I'm doing is just stretching and straightening the leg as much as I can. That's increased my stretch. Good. And relax back off again. We'll change sides and we'll come back to this position again. So same again. It's a really nice safe movement to do, because what we're doing is we're taking it to the point of slight tension. From there, we then extend the leg on a fixed arm, so we're not overstretching. Keep pushing that leg into the hands as much as you can. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax over. Come back to the other side, let's do one more time. So same again, hand on the side. From this position here, see if you can take it slightly further to begin with. You may have a little bit more range now. From this position here, you may be able to then have a slightly deeper stretch. Again, make sure your head is down. We're not tucking under. Head down, shoulder blades down. Big push into it as much as you can. Keep going. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, change sides. The reason why I'm doing lots of these basic movements in terms of flexibility is that actually the more we're sitting, especially at home, our hamstrings, the lower back becomes slightly shorter and tighter. So it's really important that although you can do lots of different types of movements, lots of different types of exercises, actually getting some of these basics of mobility and flexibility back, being mindful of what you are feeling tight in and working towards those. So everyone's going to be feeling it slightly differently. Again, keep pushing into that hand as much as you can. It's what's specific to you and what you need to keep working on. Good, and relax off. So again, you can have a little board measure just to see if flexibility is slightly increased after it, and that was just two stretches. See if it's slightly improved, even 5 or 10 degrees. You can go through that a few more times and see if you can get 5 or 10 more degrees more. And again, it should just be isolated. You should not be feeling it in any other position. If you are, I wouldn't push the stretch into it. I wouldn't straighten the leg. Just simply keep the position there and hold a static stretch for me. Okay, good. Relax back off again. From this position here, we're going to come onto our sides. So what we're looking to do is knees facing forwards, hips facing forwards, centre arm or the bottom arm directly in front of you, palm facing up, hand meets it. We're going to look to rotate round and open up. So in this position as we move, you're going to try and keep, as much as possible, the hips facing forwards. We're going to try and move through the centre of our spine. So from this position here, you're going to open out, breath out as you move. See how it feels, how far you can go. Back to centre. We're going to do 3 or 4 on one side and then we'll change. So again, breath out as you move. See how far you feel you can go. Back to centre. See if you can take it slightly further every time. Certainly by the end of it, hopefully you can get possibly all the way down. So it's 1 more time for me. And back again. We're going to do the other side. I'm, just for demo purposes, just literally going to swap over. If you've got enough floor space, just start to work on the other side as much as you can. So we're going to go down from here, again, palm facing up, rotate round. Again, compare one side to the next. One side feeling a little bit more stiffer, easier to move. You know your homework. If you're feeling certain areas or certain movements need a bit more work on, that's your homework. Final time. And back again. For those people that are used to these kind of movements, again, when you're going into that end range, you can take that breath in and breath out at the end of range, just to fully expand and get that air all the way into those parts of those lungs that are difficult to reach. So perfect, great stuff, well done. From this position, we're going to go back into 4-point kneeling and take your towel and cushions away. So I'm going to come around the other way just because it's easy for me to see. From here, we're going to come up. So again, thinking position-wise, whenever we're looking at 4-point kneeling, palms spread, even fingers, and then the palms or the elbow creases facing forward. So we try not to turn it into this, we try and give stability, turning the palms, the elbow creases forwards. Gives a lot more stability to the shoulder joint. So again, underneath the shoulders, elbows facing forwards, we're simply going to come up, lift the knees, so we're 90 degrees at the hips. We're going to lift up, off the ground, onto our toes. If you struggle with your toes, you can do it off the toes into this position. position. It's slightly more comfortable. The other alternative is that you get a towel, and it's slightly easier when you've got a bit more cushioning through there or getting into that position. So find what works for you. So the movement is hip width apart with the knees, underneath the hips, knees, wrists underneath the shoulders. Again, thinking about the position of the neck and the lower back, neutral spine, lift up, hold. With this position, we're tucking our belly button in to our spine. Strong through the elbow creases, remember. Hold for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and back down again. We're going to do that a few times, so the sequence of movements, just get your position right. When we lift the knees up, we draw the belly button towards the spine, and again, we just try not to hold our breath, keep breathing through it. Okay, great stuff, get ready again, up we go. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down again. Rest off. Same thing, reset your position, up we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down. One more time, up we come, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, control back down again. Put these hands together, open the hips out as much as you can, again it'll allow you to go further down. Big stretch down to your sides. And control back up again. Back in to 4-point kneeling. From this position, we're just going to work slightly through the back of the calf and a bit, again, mobility through the spine as well. From this position, again, do what you feel comfortable, work to what your own ability is. From this position here, we're going to lift the knees up now, so the bottom's in the air. You either move your hands further back or you move your feet slightly closer, whichever you feel comfortable. And simply, we're just going to walk these feet into the floor. Good. And we're simply going to just hold down. Again, if your heels don't touch, just walk back. Feet facing forwards. So you can see your toe facing you and your heels directly behind you. And again, you can walk them through. One more time. Hold down with one side. Good, and then walk them through again. Walk the hands out. Good, from this position. Hold a long plank, if you can. Keep holding. I think the camera's just done its own thing. Let me expand it a bit more. Okay, let's do that again. You can rest if you need to. If you've not been holding for too long. Okay, same thing, so it's a long plank position, straight arm, elbows facing forwards, lift up, hold, head neutral, draw the belly button in, towards the spine, squeeze your glutes, keep the head level, keep breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, control back down again. If you're doing lots of movements like this or exercises like this, really important that you, when you're resting, as you fully relax back down again, reset yourself again in the same position so your brain understands the elements or the components it needs to do to activate everything as it needs to. So, same position, elbows facing forwards, up, draw that belly button in, push out through your shoulder girdle, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, control it down again. For those that are happy and they've got the mobility in their toes and ankles, I'm going to progress on that you lean forwards into it. So the same position, we're going to try and activate more of the core muscles, make it challenging and make it a little bit harder. So it looks something like this. So same position, again squeeze your glutes, elbows facing forwards, lean forwards onto your toes, make sure you've got enough movement through your wrist, it's not hurting you too much. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, control back down again. Final time everyone, you're doing really well. I've totally gone over the time that I said I was going to do, so apologies. Get ready, this is your final one. So up, again, push through the shoulder girdle, elbows facing forward, lean into it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down again. Okay, well done. So you can see 2 progressions here, or 2 variations. One was what's called a modified plank, where you're in 4-point kneeling and you just gently lift the knees up a few centimetres. For those that haven't done much Pilates or done exercises such as this, that is the first one to work on. 5-second to 6-second holds. Make sure you fully relax off in between your sets. It really reactivates all the muscles again, and more times you do that, the body starts to learn about how it should be activated. So that's the first position to be working on. There's loads of variations you can come off that. The more advanced version was that long plank position, and again there's lots of variations you can do it with it. Remember, whenever you're working with elements where you're in this position, it's really important that you've got stability through your shoulder girdle, and you're activating and feeling it where you should be feeling it. So what we'll do is we'll just roll back up again and finish off, but hopefully it's not challenged you too much, but you've started to feel some of the benefits of doing some of those exercises. So from that position here, come to the edge of the mat, onto the toes. From there, we start at the bottom end of a roll down, so head down, then we straighten through the legs into a hamstring stretch. From there we curl up, engage hamstrings, glutes, lower back, thoracic, neck, gently come back up again. Well done. Come to the centre of the mat, feet slightly wider than hip width apart. From this position we'll just breathe out, big stretch up. So from this position, drop down, big stretch up, and up to the top. Well done. 2 more times for me. Breath in, breath out, and reach. Well done. 1 more time. Breath in, breath out. Good. Shake those arms, shake those legs. Thank you so much. I really apologise for going over. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you feel a little bit looser and a bit easier to move. I hope your back feels a bit nicer now. Find 3 things in what we've done in the last 50 minutes, 45 minutes, that you feel has been helpful to you, or you find that you struggle to do, and that's your homework to work on. So that's something that you can then work on. Not lots of it, you just need to do a couple of minutes a day, or in the morning, in the evening, that you feel, and then you can retest yourself. Either that's a range of movement for your neck, how you feel when you're rolling down, it could be some of the movements on your back. So find 3 things that you're going to take away from this and implement it this week for you. All right, thanks ever so much. Take care, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, bye.